like to thank the veterans and their families for their sacrifices. It's always appreciated by us. I made an announcement a little bit ago, but this is a public hearing and a work session where the public has the ability to speak. So if you would like to, the sign-in sheet is up here, so if you haven't signed in, if you came in after my announcement, by all means, Aisha has the list up here. I believe we have to make a motion to go into public hearing, do we not? May I have a motion to go into public hearing?
I'll make a motion to go into public hearing.
A second?
Second.
All in favor? Okay. The purpose of this public hearing is a variance request. This is V-23-01. It's a variance request by Mr. Victor M. Ramirez. The applicant and property owner seeks a variance from the requirement of the Statham Unified Development Code, Article 3, Specific Use Regulation, Section 3-034, for fence or wall to increase the maximum height of a fence wall in the front yard of a residential SR1 suburban residential zoning district from a 4-foot to a 6-foot with a 7.5-foot tall entrance gate for approximately 1 acre map parcel ST02/046A. This is fronting on the northwest side of 447 Price Street, approximately 510 feet south of its intersection with McCarty Road. The applicant, I believe, is present or a representative. Would you like to speak this evening?
No, thank you. It's just, like I said, it's just a gate that we want to do. It's just a little above the limit, but we really just want to do it just because we do live on the street, there's always car accidents around our home, and we spoke to all our neighbors, and they don't have anything against us doing this. So really, it's just a little, and just like my dad said, just for safety for us as well, during the park.
The council has the report from our zoning officer. Does the council have any questions?
Mayor, I have a question. It looks like from the diagram that we were provided, this fence would be cinder block and then like wrought iron on top of the cinder block. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any plans to paint or stucco the cinder block? Would you be opposed to doing that? Either paint or stucco the cinder block. So you're planning to stucco, is that correct? That's the only question I had, Mayor.
Any other questions from the council for Mr. Ramirez and his family? At this point, if there's no more, you have the right to reserve some time. Not sure how much you had used, but 42 seconds. Is there anyone who would like to speak in opposition of this variance request to put up this fence. Any questions from the audience? Okay. Well, if there's no further questions or concerns at this point, you all have the report here. I'm going to ask to make a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion to close public hearing.
I'll second.
All those in favor? Okay. Next on the agenda is minutes approval. We could make them all as part of one group. We had a March 2023 special called meeting. This was provided to the council on March 23rd. March 21st, we had our regular meeting. These are the minutes provided on March 24th. And then we had a special called meeting on March 31st, 2024. Whoops, 2023. I have a typo error. So everyone had these minutes. Is there any corrections or concerns? Okay, if there's no questions, do we have a motion to accept the minutes for 20th, the 21st, and the 31st?
Make a motion that we accept the minutes.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor? Okay, so moved. Next on the agenda, the finance report should be available tomorrow when we have the budget hearing. We don't have it this evening. Do we have a report from the police department, Captain?
Yeah, we got it.
Okay.
Not to jinx it, Chief, but it looks like all the crimes are down.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I think I caught the Chief. I should say Captain as I go.
Where you at, feedback from?
Okay. Like I said, this is a new audio system, so we're going to learn a little bit tonight. We apologize. Any questions for the captain on the report?
Yeah, looks like the traffic stops are down too for April.
To be honest with you, I have a single report.
Okay.
I know we have a lot of activity at night.
Yeah.
Both of our night shift officers are in the back and they can attest to that.
Hmm.
They also serve good being warrants at nighttime.
Jordan provided a, report with, 174 locates, for the month of March, 111 water and 63 for sewer. Um, They did some, major pothole work on Dooleytown Road. We were able to kind of partner up with the county, and, they have a hot tar truck, so they were able to fill in some of those deeper, potholes with, tar and chip or gravel. And drove out there today, and it did make quite a difference. We also installed lower speed strips on Railroad Street and on Price Street as well. They will be freshened up with newer paint, but those were requested by businesses and residents. We had a few small water leaks. They were addressed. Trash is picked up on a regular basis, and several other potholes have been resolved. But that's an ongoing battle, as everyone knows. There is no unfinished business to speak of. So at this time, we had a couple of things that needed to be added. So I'm going to ask at this time for a motion to amend the agenda. We got a request for the elementary to do a 5K run, and the police department has been notified. I understand there'll be no road closures or anything, but that came in yesterday, so I'll ask that we make an amendment to the agenda for number 2 on the item.
Motion to amend the agenda to add the Statham Elementary School 5K.
I'll second.
All those in favor? Okay. One other item, not quite sure how long the executive session might be, so in the interest of the public, I would like a motion to amend the agenda to move the citizen input to item number 3 on new business.
May I make that motion?
I'll second.
All those in favor? Okay. So the first item on new business is the steering committee. And I've had a couple of calls into a few of the business people, and I'll probably walk around tomorrow and talk to some of them in person. I believe that we had a couple of members of the council that were interested. If I'm not mistaken, Council Member Penn, Council Kraus, and I believe Council Patterson. So,
Mayor, also, spoke to Renee Moore, who lives in the Georgia Club. She said she would be interested. She doesn't live inside the city, but she is local, and they're business owners. So she may be a good addition to it.
okay. I have her number. I can confirm that with her. Number 2 on the list is the, as I said, we got a application for a 5K run for the elementary school. They do this every year. They've provided a certificate of insurance through the school board, and as I understand, they won't need any road closures, but I'm sure our police department will lend a hand where needed. So is there any questions, from the council on that item?
The date of this, run is 4/23. Our voting session is 18th, that's correct? Okay.
Okay, if there's no further discussion, then at this time, we'll move on to citizen input. In the interest of respect to everyone, those that speak, please give your name and your address, address the council as a body, and please no outbursts. If you respect the speaker, and they in turn will respect you when it's your turn. So the attorney will keep time. You have 5 minutes to speak. Ms. Aisha, first, and they
Mayor.
what, I'm sorry?
If you would allow it, I would like 5 minutes of the floor.
Okay.
The council has asked me to read a statement that's been prepared.
Go ahead.
On behalf of the City Council, as most of you are aware, on 3/10/2023, the City Council's position was terminated by the mayor. The City Council was informed of this decision on 3/13/2023 around 3 p.m. by the mayor through email. On 3/16/2023, the City Council was made aware of a severance package between the former city accountant and the mayor. An email containing the severance documents was emailed to council members on 3/17/2023. Included in the severance package was an agreement between the former city accountant and the city stating that any litigation brought forth by the accountant would be dropped. On 3/17/2023, council members learned that the city attorney had not been advised of this agreement between the city accountant and the mayor until after the agreement was signed and notarized, which is in violation of the City of Stathem's charter. Because of this, it is not a binding agreement between the city and the former city accountant. Because council members were not made aware of any of this until after the agreement was drafted and signed, all questions should be directed to the mayor.
Thank you. You'll need to press the button for about 3 seconds and then take it from there. They come on. Oh, and this one. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Got it. Hold on. I'm used to having podium for my minutes. Okay. Tonight I'm here addressing for the public record a letter on March 10th, 2023 to Mayor Piper from former accountant of the City of Statham. Part of this letter does address myself as a committee member that sat on the Finance Committee. I am only addressing the paragraph that applies to myself. In fall of 2020, the city had a finance committee, and at the time and within the committee was one council member and one citizen who is the wife of a council member, me. The city member on the committee directed all finance and audits to go through her and her citizen friend, even though they did not have any experience or knowledge of government finance audit or government auditing. While the citizen at the city one day brought in some boxes and informed for information on the audit, she mentioned she had several boxes of city documents at her house and planned to take a few more boxes with her. I asked her to return them, this is former city accountant, the boxes to the city, and that no criterion documents of the city should leave the building. But she was more than welcome to view the documents and assist with the audit while at City Hall. The citizen grew disgruntled, and by the end of the conversation demanded my accountant from the mayor her termination because she was rude. And by your witness to the conversation with her, informed her that I did not appear to be rude and therefore not going to terminate me, the accountant, for doing my job. She, me, quit the committee after that. I'm here to clarify this because this is part of public record now. I worked for a county government for over 17 years in the finance department. I was a purchasing director. I did accounting, budgets, audits. I worked on the P&Z clerk for the Board of Planning and Zoning. I worked with over 22 departments and some state agencies. I did policies and procedures, budget amendments, requests for RFPs, bids. I wrote grants. I kept the departments aware of their budgets and helped them to stay on track with their budgets. Later on in years, I also got the job, added on to my job, AP, running 1099s. I worked with vendors, and there's so much more that went on to my job. And this person says I was not qualified. Well, let's start where, how did I get on this committee? I was requested and asked by the Mayor Piper if I would sit on the committee with the other person, Tammy. What it comes down to is transparency. This is public record, this statement given, and it's not transparent. It is stating I asked for someone's termination. I did not. It also stated in here that the mayor was present during my conversation with the former accountant. He was not. The only other person was the former city clerk. The discussion went as I came in to get some paperwork. Yes. No, I did not bring boxes with me. I had returned all the boxes ahead of time because I, along with the chair, finished the 2017 audit. I volunteered days, hours, months to the city to get them back on track because we were so far behind. I was asked because of my experience in government. It comes down to when someone says something, doesn't mean it's fact. And I'm a prideful person. And I did say she was rude. Sorry. Because she taunted me and kept on taunting me. And I did say, at this time, this discussion was already done with the mayor and the chair, and I had permission. And at this time, I do not want to discuss this with you. And she taunted me more. And I asked to stop the conversation. And she taunted me more. And I said, you are being very rude, and I am going to talk to the mayor. And let's stop this conversation now. So I went to the office because the mayor was in the front office. I stepped up there not realizing he was on the phone. And he placed his hand over the phone and he said, can I help you? When you're off the phone, will you come and speak to me? Oh, it's time?
I got 5 minutes.
Oh, I got 3 minutes and 30 seconds.
You started with me.
Oh,
I started right when you started talking.
okay.
We'd like to hear it. Yeah.
It's okay. I don't want to get him in trouble. It's okay. It's okay.
Next on the list.
My name's Rudy Kraus. I live at 472 Whispering Oaks Drive. I have 3 subjects I want to cover, but first I'd like to make a positive comment. I appreciate the police department patrolling our neighborhood. We have a lot of activity going from the trailer park over to Woodbury, and we're starting to have a lot of problems, but I really appreciate it. The 3 subjects I want to cover are, number 1, is the information that's associated with the tree committee. There's now public record of emails that were sent that were basically veiled threats, innuendo, and false accusations made about how $18 worth of mulch were procured. We've wasted all that time on that particular subject for nothing but to create turmoil in the city. The second one is David Hughes is in the process of suing the city because he cannot get his business license, okay? Because a member of this body, and we all know who that member is, had an argument with him and determined that he could no longer have his business. So there's another issue. Now we have another threat of suit associated with the city. I don't understand why it is that the truth, which is supposed to set us free, does not seem to fit one member of this body up here. Okay? So I don't grasp it. I know that there's others that have called for a resignation. I'm going to tell you, the best thing that could happen right now to this city is for us to have an interim mayor and have the mayor that we have right now replaced. So I would just like to make sure that we understand this situation, how the citizens are feeling, and have the desire to reconcile this situation. That is respect. Is it not all right that they show me respect?
Next.
Captain, all right. You doing well? Good to see you.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Tim Torelli, 1980 Broad Street. I think in lieu of what is happening with one of the members of this body, we really have got to change the charter. This is insane that we are being held hostage by one person in this city. We've got to make a charter where the city council is strong, the mayor cannot be the voice, cannot be spending this money. Is there any way to get him off of the bank accounts? How is he just willy-nilly able to pay someone $16,000? It's insane. This is crazy that a little town like this has to be held hostage like this. We have an election coming up. I think it's like 200 days or so. We're so close to being out of this. We have one person that I know is running who I have total faith in, and I ask everybody, get behind the one person. The person that is sitting in the mayor's seat got lucky that there was a split vote. We cannot afford to let that happen again. The city's going to sink if this person is elected again. So please, get behind one person, and I cannot thank you guys enough. I know, well, I have no idea. I can't imagine how tough this has been. I know the five of you are working hard at this, and I can't imagine what this is like. But thank you guys for being a part of this. Thank you for trying. I know that the city might be blaming you guys for a lot, but I know that you guys are working hard. I'd like to yield the rest of my time to the next speaker. Thank you.
Oh. Sorry, Christine Bogenreiter, 1969 Broad Street. I'm not really a good public speaker, but I'm going to try. I wrote some notes. I just really wanted to talk about the tree committee that I've been on for the past 4+ years. It started as a tree, green space, and beautification. It evolved into beautification and green space because we saw a need. Things weren't getting done around town. We wanted to make the downtown better for the citizens and for businesses and families, so we expanded it. The past years, the council has approved money for our committees. Some of the approved money was supposed to be spent on playground equipment for the 2 parks. start of a disc golf course. The rest was gonna be fundraised. Some banners that were supposed to be ordered by the event committee that were budgeted almost a year later, they were never ordered. We had extra money, we put in for those. The mayor did not like those, he ordered something else. We do have banners, right now our winter banners are still up. The basketball court was supposed to be repaved twice. We had that in our budget at Rainwater. The last budget, we were told that the balance was supposed to carry forward and it was going to be done this year. And then we were told, no, it's not getting done. The money went in the general fund. We had money budgeted for signs and plantings at the city entrances. We also had money for 2 employees to maintain the downtown, the parks, cut the grass. 1 man was hired. He was physically not able to do the job. He was fired. When the mayor was questioned about replacing it, he stated to a council member and my husband, "I'm tired of people asking me. Catch me on a bad day and I'll just concrete over all these flower beds." None of this stuff has gotten done that's been budgeted. The council has approved it, the money has been there. But the mayor feels like he can ask for $160,000 to remodel City Hall after $40,000 was already spent a couple of years ago. I believe the mayor's job is to execute the budget put forth by the council. This mayor has failed to do that, and he has failed the council and its citizens.
Kurt Bogenreiter, 1969. That's my lovely wife who did an excellent job. I told her she's a much better public speaker than she realizes. But anyways, transparency. City council, that's been the problem with this city for the past, at least past 15 years. I mean, the regime, the mayor that was in the position previous to Mayor Piper, you know, we had problems with that exact thing. And it related directly to the city charter, which was supposed to be changed. As a matter of fact, that was one of the tenets that Mr. Piper ran on, was transparency and giving the city council more of the executive power, I guess, if you wanted to call it that. Never followed through with that. Matter of fact, it just became muddier. There's no transparency at all with what this mayor does as far as spending money at his own discretion. That's wrong. This is our money. This is our money that's being spent. The reason why we're here in this venue is because he expanded, without anyone else's approval, the break room area in City Hall, which effectively reduced the audience size almost in half. Why would you do that? I would commend the mayor on one thing, and that is allowing the citizen input before the executive session, instead of having it the way it was. And that was an administrative change at some point. Why we put citizen input at the end of the meeting? Again, to get rid of transparency or reduce transparency. I mean, that's the way it looks. So for that reason and a pile of other reasons that I could come up with, including the absolute dysfunctionality that exists right now between the mayor and the city council. You see it. All you citizens see that dysfunctionality. If you didn't, it should have been readily apparent with Mr. Venable's statement that, to me, is signs that the regime is crumbling. Mr. Mayor, that coupled with your 4 bankruptcies and, you know, perhaps going into your next one and, you know, taking care of our finances, that's mind-blowing to me that we would allow that. So I'm going to ask I'm going to ask on the behalf of dozens of people that I know that you retire from your position as mayor and give the city council back the power that they should have. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have anyone else on the list?
Claire Mackey, 1936 Broad Street. And I just want to start off with Mayor Piper. I don't know if you're drawing, coloring, but I would like your full attention at this time. Beginning on March 15th, I filed several open records requests in light of April Stevens' abrupt resignation. When I received responses from the city, I found several concerning matters. On April 29th, 2022, April writes, well development costs to date, April 29th, 2022. Transfer from project fund to general fund bank accounts. The total was $38,824. There was $4,250 added, which totaled just over $43,000. There was one payment of $26,000 made, so the remaining balance was $16,985. When I received the ACH transmittals, I noticed that the $4,250 actually came from the PD forfeiture account, which is highly illegal. Jody Campbell, maybe you can enlighten the mayor on how illegal that is. And I have all the documents here for you guys. There was also $1,275 that was transferred out of the Shop with a Cop fund and transferred to general fund. This is a grant. I don't know why it's being transferred to the general fund for, any expenses for the city. I also want to know, or why doesn't Chief have access to the PD's bank accounts? He was removed September 30th of 2022. The PD reportedly doesn't even have funds for toilet paper. Do y'all know that? The officers are having to bring in their own toilet paper. That's a problem. Since January 1st of 2022, $958,000 of money from the general fund has been transferred with zero explanation, zero. But Mayor Piper signed off on it, and so did April. The mishandling and misappropriation of police funds is alarming and demands further investigating. I can't help but question why the city has refused to be transparent and abide by Georgia law. We need the GBI to investigate and conduct an audit instantly. And I will say that I have several open records requests. There's been violations since March 15th that total thousands of dollars. So that may be an additional lawsuit that the city is facing at this time. Thank you. Oh, and I yield all the time to the next speaker if there is one.
Who's next?
Hello, everyone. Dwight McCormick, 2123 Smith Drive. I would like to point out, I also disagree with the handling of April Stevens' severance package. I would like to point out that on the Tree, Green Space, and Beautification Committee, Mayor Piper wants to hold us accountable for the rules, the regulations, the procedures, and policy for $18 worth of mulch, but then he gets to spend $16,000 of our money on he and April Plank's exit strategy. It was not signed off by the city attorney, and because of that, it exposes us. I would also like to note that the city's former employees, the long-term employees that we've lost under the Piper administration, Connie Gordon, Andy Autry, John Davis, Sandra Bennett, John Epps, and Tracy Pollard. All of these people were valuable, long-term employees of the city who also worked under the same environment that April Plank Stevens got her severance package in. Now, if you take 16,000 times all of these people, you now have about $96,000 worth of legitimate claims that these people can make because they were working for the city in the exact same environment. The one April Plank claimed was hostile in her letters. So I would also ask that the mayor do the city a favor and please step down. You are not cut out for this work. You are not transparent, and you've done nothing but deceive and steal from the citizens of Statham since you took office. That's all.
Anyone else?
I apologize. I didn't sign up because I was told somebody was going to ask. I got two questions. Okay, I just want to know if I could. Okay.
Thank you.
My name's Eddie Jackson. I'm at 360.
Thank you. If there's no other input, at this time, I'm going to ask for a motion to go to executive session.
I'll make a motion to
For
go
the
there.
purpose of discuss, and deliberate upon the appointment, employment, compensation, hiring, disciplinary action, or dismissal, or periodic evaluation, or rating of a public officer or employee as provided in Georgia Code Section 50-14-3, subsection B, paragraph 2. Is there a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to go into executive session.
Second. All those in favor? We'll return shortly. At this time, I ask for a motion to come out of executive session.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Thank you. Could I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor? Thank you all for coming.